Hello everyone, my name is Mimi79 and today I've got some daily race B. So this was recorded last week because the daily races this week are just absolutely appalling in my opinion. Daily race A is something I hardly even touch anyway. Daily race B is something we've seen a million times before, and race C is just meh. So these were some pretty decent races, I would say. So in this one, starting third, and last week this was just McLaren F1 Fest. No other car was viable apart from the 4 GT, but you don't really see anyone using that car. So that's an absolute missile into turn one, and he spins around anyways. So I think it was just a braking error. I don't think it was anything malicious. However, you never know. Maybe they were directed by some unknown force, and they were sent to attack a certain driver. Anyway, through the right-left sequence, really hard to get right, but when you do gain so much time. So this right-hander here, you can take it flat if you take it dead right. However, this left here is not flat, but it's a very tricky corner because the approach to the corner is quite bumpy, so if you don't get it right, you will be thrown offline. So that's something to look out for. However, we are just about out of the slipstream range, unfortunately, I think. But first and second are starting to fight, so maybe we could just tuck back into that slipstream. So round the penultimate corner, it's very tricky. It's basically like spoon curve in a way because of the double apex, as the first part of the corner is slightly faster than the second. So down the main straight into lap number 2, right behind Burst at this point. I think he has just dropped off slightly. However, the Italian in the lead there, and this should be very easy to get past the Italian here because he does have the slipstream, and the speed difference is about 10 miles an hour or so at the start finish line there, so it's absolutely crazy how powerful the slipstream can be. As Wi-Fi password on our left, and he's going to come storming through into the lead of the race. Very brave, however it goes a bit too late on the brakes, so we are going to get past. We gets a real nice cutback, but we just have to push him off, unfortunately, as we had the Italian on our right. So the gap's about 4.5 tenths to Actress 2013. But here, we're just braking on the 50 board, and not the best line. Could have definitely taken it more aggressively, and then through the left-hander, could have gone the power a tad earlier. However, I am very harsh on my driving, so maybe I am wrong in this situation. So through the left-hander, running just a little bit wide again, the bump's really kind of throwing you off, and now we are definitely out the slipstream range. So now it's going to be very hard to catch up with the two cars in front. But we've got Wi-Fi password right behind us, so we have to just monitor the gap. And actually he is just going to bump draft us, so thankfully he is trying to work together to try and close up to Burst and Actress in front. So round the final corner, get on the power as early as possible. You can't really put on full throttle too early, otherwise you will smack into the wall. So it is very hard to judge it, I believe. However, here we are just going to whip it forward because the straight is just so long on this track. So braking just on the 150 board, maybe a tad too late. However, we'll get the braking pretty right that time. However, they just do get the overspeed, so the gap's about a second to Burst and Actress once more. But whipping it forward to the end of lap 3, and here the gap's only 9 tenths or so, and Wi-Fi password is going to bump draft us, I believe. Yeah, there you go. Just a little love tab, and that is going to really help us to try and catch up, because eventually they are going to run out of steam. So hopefully we can just get in that slipstream range for the final run to the finish line on at the end of this lap. Anyway, into the first corner. This first kind of kink is easily flat, but braking super late, pretty much spot on, and then looking up the inside of the Italian, but we just managed to avoid him without any contact. So the gap's about 6/10 to the leader. It was about 1 and a bit seconds, but the gap has dropped dramatically since the run to the first corner. Anyway, into the left hand, pretty decent run through there. Could have been better though. Again, it's very hard to judge when you have hindsight on your side. This time we do get a slightly better run through that corner, but again I think we just got on the power a bit too early, so we had to have a hint of a lift. But we take the chicane pretty much dead right. We are going to go side by side with the Italian. Obviously this is going to cost us a lot of time to burst in front, but I want to get the second place very badly. So we are just about ahead, but he just does have his nose alongside, so we've got to leave him space. So round the penultimate corner and into the final one, we are going to have to go the long way round, which is going to cost us a lot of time. Now Wi-Fi password is in the mix, so we have got to leave him space. We do just squeeze him into the wall, however he does not lose any time, so thankfully we don't get a penalty. And with the penalty system, anything is possible really. You could get a penalty for the slightest infringement, but to the line it's going to be very close between myself and the Italian. It's just 0.007 in the end. Very enjoyable race, that one. So straight on to the second one, starting fourth this time. So this time we've got Timmy DJG94 in second. So this might throw a spanner into the works. However, into the first corner, braking late. However, you don't want to brake too late. You don't want to really brake on your normal braking point, otherwise you will end up smack into the back of the car in front. So we're going to cut to the replay camera and got Wi-Fi password right behind us, and it's going to be very difficult, I think, to hold him off because he's a very quick driver, very quick. You know, it isn't a fluke that he has a much higher driver rating than me. However, I am finally on A+ driver rating, thankfully. After a lot of hard work, we've finally done it. So I'm very happy to have finally reached it. So it is going to help me achieve top 10 for Citroen, as there will be more points on offer. However, at the same time it will be harder to get those big points. And with Willow Springs already out of the way, it's going to be quite hard, I think, for me to achieve a strong result. So anyway, enough of the FIA nonsense. Into the final corner, you've got Archer swerving to the left, and he's going to pick up a 1.5 second penalty. And now at this point, burst is already long gone. It's going to be very difficult to catch up with him, especially as he set a 56.7, I believe. So just whipping it forward, and we're just going to get squeezed into the wall, and we are going to drop down into 5th place. And we've got Wi-Fi password on the left, but he doesn't have to slipstream, so we are going to soar past very easily, as the slipstream is so powerful on this track. And in fact, they have caught up to burst, despite what I said. They actually did achieve it. So looking up the inside of Timmy here, but he just does get the power down, and Archer gets another penalty, so his total penalty is up to 2.5 seconds. No idea what he got it for. I didn't look on the replay camera. So anyway, into turn number 2, very slow, could have taken it a lot better. However, just tapping the inside wall, losing a lot of time, and we are slowly starting to lose sight of the group in front. We have just about dropped off the slipstream range now, so that is not ideal at all. However, the Italian bit shaky on the exit there, so that is going to slow the group in front down quite heavily. And we are now in the slipstream range of Timmy in 3rd place. However, we do still have Wi-Fi password hot on our tail, so we have to be very careful of that, as if we make one minor mistake, he will capitalise on that. Just out the slipstream range of Timmy now, unfortunately. However, maybe a bump draft can resolve that, or perhaps a very good run out the final corner, which we do get. So now we are in the slipstream of Timmy. So thankfully, we are not going to lose time, but we are in fact going to absolutely fly down the main straight. We're going to pull over to the left, and we are going to move up into second place. And Wi-Fi password is just going to follow me through, almost squeeze into the wall there. But now we are in the slipstream range of Burst in first place. So we're into the first corner, braking halfway in between the 200 board and the 150 board, and I'm almost hitting Burst there, very close to just smacking into the side of him and maybe taking him out. However, we do not do that, and we remain in second place. So into the turn number 2, braking just on the 50 board once again. It's a very tricky corner to get right, I think, because if you brake too late, you will smack into the wall, but if you brake a bit too early, you will end up losing a lot of time on the entry. So into the left hand, running relatively pinned to the inside. However, we do still lose a lot of time, because if you go too slowly, you will lose a lot of time once more. However, the most important sequence of corners on this track, I think, is the chicane before the run to the final corners, as you do gain a lot of time if you get it dead right. It will help you on your qualifying run if you get it spot on. So out of the final corner, not the best exit, I will have to admit, but we are in the slipstream of Burst, so it doesn't really matter all too much. 4.5 tenths up on Burst's personal best, but to be fair, we do have the slipstream, and we're going to pull alongside, and we are going to move up into the lead of the race. Very good stuff. However, we've got Timmy charging through 57.2 there, pretty decent lap. However, I did make a lot of mistakes, and I could have gone half a second quicker, I believe. So we've been swamped by both Burst and Timmy, so dropping down into third temporarily. However, we are going to brake relatively early, as Timmy goes way too late on the brakes, but he does make it round the corner, so fair play to him. However, he smacks into the wall, and that is going to throw me off guard, and I try to avoid it, but he gets a 1 second penalty. These penalties just do not make any sense. What is this penalty system? Because neither of us should have got a penalty there. It was just a case of him going a bit too close to the inside wall. I couldn't really do anything, and he gets penalised for it. However, he is out of our slipstream range now, so he is definitely getting his foot down. However, he just grazes the wall, so he is going to lose about a tenth or so, and we are back in the slipstream range. So round the chicane, very nice run, but we just go a bit too hot and we lose about 2 tenths there. So it just goes to show how much time you can lose by not getting that chicane dead right. It's going to be very close here, as if we're going to overtake Timmy. I will just slip it down the inside. However, he is probably going to take us on this straight, as it is so long. So the gap's about 2 tenths, and we just back off there because I don't want him to get the slingshot. But in fact, what this has caused is it's allowed Wi-Fi password in the Italian to catch up with us, so perhaps it wasn't the best move in hindsight. So they are going to have massive slingshot, and we're going to drop down into third place there. We are going to stay on the podium, thankfully, but it was a great race. Like and subscribe, leave feedback, but take care everyone, and goodbye.